Yes, yes, y'all. What the bumba? You already know what it is. It's King Astro for y'all who wanna what, wanna know. So let's go. And we back with another video. Yes, welcome. Shout out to all you crystalline beings. Shout out to all you sun feeders out there. Shout out to all you chosen ones. Cause y'all the real outlaws in the game. And we finna talk about it. Cause when you woke up to this truth, when your eyes has been opened, when the veil has been lifted off your eyes, when you see the truth, you'll be considered an outlaw to the world. Alright? You already know how this thing go. Man, before we begin, don't forget to bring in my theme music.
Back in the fight.
Alright, y'all. Shout out to all you sun feeders, crystalline beings, star seeds. Y'all the real MVP out there. First of all, I want to apologize for not really dropping videos on a consistent basis. Guys, I've just been on my shit, and when you're working on yourself and you're doing this spiritual battle and you're going within, it can be draining because it's not all about just going within and meditating. This is an actual battle. This is an actual war, and standing your ground in this truth and not wavering from this truth and doing your best to raise your vibration and your consciousness level so you can completely understand this matrix that you are trapped in. It's a pretty tiring journey. I will say it drains a lot of energy, but at the same time, it gives me more life because, you know, the good book says, people perish for the lack of knowledge. And I really do my best to get as much knowledge as I can as possible. But not just any knowledge. It depends on the frequency you're on. If you're on the vibe of truth, then you just have to follow that frequency to where it leads you, because it all starts with your consciousness level and what you perceive or believe to be true. So what you perceive and believe to be true determines your consciousness, and how much you know to believe, or how much you believe to be true, depends on the level of your consciousness, right? So it's all about perspective. If you see only the microcosm, which is the everyday to day aspect, you know, kind of rat race, hamster in the wheel aspect of things, then you're still kind of on a lower consciousness. But if you can see the macrocosm, the bigger aspect of things, the bigger picture, if you have a broader perspective of things, then in that aspect you have a higher consciousness, because You see the bigger picture, and when you see the bigger picture of things, you can almost predict what's going to happen, right? Because you see the patterns and you see the inner workings of how this thing goes. And being on this journey is tough, fam. It's tough. I mean, if you're here with me right now, you gotta have the heart of steel. You really do have tough skin, because just imagine all the things we've been through. You know, just imagine what us truthers had to go through these past couple years. I mean, yikes. That was a nightmare, fam. Pretty much the propaganda. Just being bombarded with having to make this choice and seeing what's happening to people around you and trying to convince your loved ones and the ones close to you not to take the snake venom, and just watching it go down, watching things play out, and you being aware of pretty much the propaganda and the lies that's being told to you. So imagine being aware of the propaganda and being aware of the lies that's in front of you, and you're the only one that can see this. No one else is resonating on that frequency with you, fam. When you try to tell them, hey, this is what's happening, fam, I think you should reconsider. They kind of look at you dumbfounded, like you're the one's crazy. And for the most part, it wasn't like most of us truthers were trying to force our opinions on people. We were just trying to tell people to open their eyes and do some research and at least think twice before they jump to conclusions and make any drastic decisions that might alter their life for the rest of their life, at that moment. But it's like a lot of us truthers, we were alone in this journey. We were alone. We were the only one in the family that knew the truth. You were the black sheep. You were the black sheep. Everyone called you crazy. They just couldn't see your vision. They weren't vibing on your frequency, fam. So a lot of them fell for the bait and went and took the snake juice and got poisoned by the venom. Not once, but twice, but thrice. People got bit by the venom not once, but twice, but thrice. And then when they get boosted, juiced, you know what I mean? It's like, dang. Just watching this happen, for the 2 years, fam, that this whole debacle, this whole shit show was going on. I mean, and if you made it to this point on this side and you still holding strong, fam, congrats to you. But just know, like I know, that when you take this stance, when you're on the other side of the line, on the other side of the veil, and you see things for what it is, and you're standing up to the B system, and you're saying no, you're gonna be considered an outlaw in this game. And that's a fact. And I'm not trying to say it like in a connotation where you're a criminal or you're above the law, but that is what they're gonna make it seem like you are. When you stand up in this truth and you don't get swayed into making any rash decisions, the propaganda doesn't really trick you or make you psychologically make a decision that you usually wouldn't, if you were in the right state of mind. I mean, you're just gonna be an outlaw in this game. That's pretty much the fact is. When you go against the system, you're gonna be an outlaw. When you say no and start living your life opposite of what society is telling you you're supposed to live, you're an outlaw, fam. I mean, 'cause you think, act, and you move like the 1%ers do. I said when you come into this truth, you think, act, and move like the 1%ers do. So out of the 8 billion people on this planet, you move like the 1% of that, which is like under a million, fam. Under a billion. I would say half a billion. 500 million. Probably less than that. 100 million. Right. So out of 8 billion, only 100 million think and move like you do. Think about it, fam. And I have to be honest. Alright? I know I tell people to get on this semen retention journey, and I'm not going to stop because that's a practice that I've been doing for a couple years and I still believe in it. And I feel like basically semen retention is the gateway, especially if you're a man. It's a gateway to open your first eye so you can see the truth. It's a quick way to pretty much unlock all your chakras. Yes, semen retention is the quickest way to unlock all your chakras because it starts at the root, right? And what's the root? The root is the red chakra, which is at the sacrum, right? So you start from the sacrum, you move all the way up to the crown chakra. But you can't jump from one to the other. You gotta start from the bottom, start from the root, and once you master or somewhat master the root, then you begin to unlock the other chakras, the solar plexus, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the first eye, and the crown chakra. You know what I mean? But basically what I'm saying is if you're on this semen retention journey, right, you're holding your seed, you're holding your energy, because I've explained plenty of times in my other videos, right, when you save this energy, right, this powers up your kundalini energy, okay, because your semen, your sperm is literally light force energy. You have millions and millions and trillions of little light beings floating inside of you, right? And what does it take for these light beings to move and swim around? It takes energy, and you're housing that energy. So the longer you house that energy, the more the energy gives you a recharge. You know what I'm saying? It's like a battery, right? Because every time you spill it from baiting and watching pornography, you lose that energy. That's why you feel tired and sluggish and worn out right after you finish. You know what I'm saying? So holding it in is pretty much a no-brainer. You get to harness that energy, but you can't just have it sitting in the root. You have to do things to move that energy up from the root all the way up to your crown, and that includes exercising, dieting, fasting, right? Because you want that energy not to stay stagnant at the bottom. You want it to rise to the crown chakra. So basically, exercising and lifting and doing squats with weights is one of the fastest way to shift that energy from the root and get it moving towards the heart all the way to the crown. You know what I mean? And I also explained that these seminal fluids, if not wasted within 30 to 40 days, gets reabsorbed in the body, right? So if you've been eating healthy, all that energy and all the nutrients, because your semen needs all of the vital vitamins and nutrients to create a human. So it takes the best of the best. From A to zinc, it takes the finest nutrients of everything you eat, right? And stores it. And this is all mixed in with the seminal fluid. And also you have brain fluid, right? Cerebral fluid that comes from your brain that goes down into your semen and to give information about the brain and your mind and the way you think, right? This is all conducive to what goes into your semen before it produces a whole human being because it needs information. So information from your brain, cerebral fluid travels from your brain all the way down to your sacrum, and while it's traveling down your spine, right? While the cerebral fluid from your brain is traveling down your spine, it's collecting information about your environment, about your body, about everything, man, and storing it in the sacrum just in case it needs to make a human being. If it doesn't, it gets reabsorbed in the body and the cerebral fluid goes back up to the brain. Well, meanwhile, while you've been saving that energy, while you've been on your practice, it's been upgraded, right? It's been upgraded, so now it's even finer than before. So when it returns to the brain, it crystallizes your pineal and your pituitary glands, right? And this is what helps to activate your first eye, help to open your first eye, so you can begin to raise your consciousness, right? And begin to operate on a higher vibration so you can receive these signals and get higher cosmic intelligence information that the sun and the universe is sending throughout the cosmos. You understand? So, semen retention is the fastest way to unlock all your chakras, and it's part of the 1% practice. And if you are practicing semen retention, you are basically an outlaw in this game. Why does it make you an outlaw in this game? Well, look at you. You're saving your energy. Okay, this game, this matrix, does not want you to keep your energy. This matrix does not want you to hold on to your energy, fam. That's why smut is easily accessible. You know, that's why the explicit imagery in videos is easily accessible, because they don't want you to keep your energy, fam. That's why it's free. You know, it's just a click away. It's on your phone. You can get it. It's on Instagram. It's everywhere you go. Social media. It's in the music videos. It's in the commercials, right? Because it's designed to steal your energy. You know, because when you waste your energy, you vibrate at a low frequency, and when you vibrate at a low frequency, it makes it easier for you to be a target to low vibrational entities that like to feed off your energy, and it makes you also susceptible to low vibrational frequencies that are shot through satellites and certain towers that surround us at the moment, right? So pretty much it's a design to keep you at a low frequency, and if you're saving your energy and you're not blowing it, you're not blowing your load, right? If you're saving your energy and you're not blowing your load, you are definitely an outlaw, because you're going against what the matrix wants you to do. You're saying, no, I'm going to keep this energy and I'm going to harness it, right? I'm going to cultivate it. Like a seed, water it and let it grow until it blossoms into a full-grown tree, right? The tree of knowledge, the tree of wisdom, the tree of life, right? So automatically, if you're on this practice, you're considered an outlaw. Congratulations, fam. Because this matrix has its laws, but when you decide to go against it, then you're operating outside the law. But always remember the laws, okay? The 10 laws that the Most High gave you, and the 7 laws of the cosmos, right? Thou shalt not, thou shalt not. As above, so below, the law of karma, right? So pretty much practicing semen retention makes you an outlaw. And if you couple this with dieting, if you're eating once a day, you're not eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you're practicing intermittent fasting. You're eating less on a regular basis. That puts you in the category of an outlaw, fam. Because once again, society wants you to eat 3 times a day, wants you to consume, 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 buy, buy, buy. That's why there's so many fast food restaurants, fast food chains. There's food everywhere. Right now, as we speak, there claims to be a food shortage, and there's inflation and rise in the prices of produce and goods. But everywhere I go, I see a lot of fast food restaurants that don't seem to have any shortage. I mean, the prices go up, but they're still managing to feed millions and billions of people. But us truthers, us outlaws, we on a different vibe. We're on a different frequency because we practice intermittent fasting. We practice eating once a day. And for the most part, we watch what we eat. Shout out to you if you have pretty much graduated to fruitarianism. Okay? There's levels to this. There's steps to this. I am proud to say I'm on a level of fruitarianism. Mostly, basically. I eat fruits from sun up to sundown and eat one meal a day, which basically consists of fruits. And I've been surviving on that diet for a long time now, for about 4 to 5 months. And fam, I have to say it's a life changer, because I never thought. Pretty much, it's curbing all those appetites and cravings. That's what it's all about. Curbing appetites and cravings. You know, because when you've been doing something for a long time, it takes practice to wean yourself off of it. Same with the semen retention. Gotta wean yourself off the meat, because the meat price is only gonna go up, and who knows what they've been doing to it. At this point, you just wanna stay off of it, because the famine hits and you got that craving, you might become a actual cannibal. And that's just a warning, for those who crave it. If you crave flesh and dead meat, that's not a good thing. It might put you in a predicament later on down the line when shit starts to hit the fan. Okay, so that's just a fair warning. Start trying to wean yourself off of eating too much. Start trying to wean yourself off of 3 meals a day. Wing it down to 1 meal a day if you can. Because there might come a time when you have to go a couple days without eating. And a lot of you guys can't even go a couple hours, right? Don't forget, fam, this is a test, right? Earth is a school ground. This is a test. So, you're going to be faced with challenges in order to determine what you've learned while being on this plane, right? And you have to learn from the past so you don't repeat the same mistakes from the past, right? So as you dig into the past and find out the truth about your reality, it forces you to look forward to it forces you to look towards the future because you don't want to repeat the same things that have been going on in the past. You want a new future, not just for you, but for those around you. Alright? And we all deserve to be living on heaven on earth. Right now, this is hell on earth. Seriously, this is not the way we were supposed to be living, especially the original people. They got us in a wild predicament here. But we're gonna return things back, alright? Out of 8 billion people, unfortunately there's 7 billion that's holding the planet back. But all we need is 500 million to a billion in order to reach critical mass, and we can shut this whole thing down. Like I said, it all starts with consciousness. It all starts with awareness. And it's up to us outlaws to keep spreading this truth and this message and waking up as many people as we can, because the numbers do count. And we have to raise people's consciousness to a certain level so we can reach critical mass and flip everything completely upside down. Because the earth is going to shift regardless. The earth is going to ascend regardless. The thing is, if the organisms that live on earth ain't ready to ascend with her, it's not going to be a good thing. They're going to be left behind. They're going to be wiped away. The energy is going to be recycled for later use. So we outlaws are trying our best to get as much people on this consciousness wave as possible, because we do want to save as much people as possible. I mean, nothing's guaranteed. It's not guaranteed for me, but I know I'm doing everything I can on a regular basis to raise my consciousness, my vibe, my frequency, and of those around me. By staying on semen retention and holding in my energy and raising up my kundalini, right? Raising up my kundalini and opening my first eye, getting that cosmic intel, knowing the truth about the past, the present, and the future, right? Seeing where these things head and where it needs to go, and pretty much being aware of what's happening, because when you're aware of what's happening, then you can kind of maneuver through this thing a lot smoother. Nothing is guaranteed, but the more you know, obviously the better, right? Because it was just a shock to me how a lot of people just seemed blinded towards the truth, but that's just how it's supposed to be. If you weren't meant to see it, if you weren't meant to know it, just weren't meant to know it. A lot of people are being caught up in this world, in this matrix. I mean, caught up with their life and their lifestyle and the rat race, the hamster wheel, that they just didn't have time to raise their consciousness enough to realize that the environment that they were living in, it was really, 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 really sick. Right? But I don't know. It just wasn't meant for everybody. And that's why I say, if you're in this truth and you're on this journey, you're an outlaw. Because not everybody is meant to be an outlaw. You're a rebel against society. So shouts out to you, fam. Shouts out to us. Because there's not that many people like us, fam. And that's okay, but all we need is a certain number and then we can get this thing jump started. We're the ones that's out there sun feeding, sun gazing. We're the ones that's out there astral projecting, you know, meditating. We're the ones binging on information, trying to raise our consciousness as much as possible. And what people have to understand is when people say raise our vibration, raise your consciousness, and you gotta have a higher consciousness, it's all about knowing the truth, right? Okay, because everybody has their belief, everybody has their truth. Okay, and what you believe is your truth, but that doesn't always mean that it's the truth, right? So if you're operating off of false beliefs, then your reality is gonna be based around falsehoods pretty much, you know? And your frequency and your path is gonna be based on what you perceive and believe to be true. And if it's not true, then obviously you'd be led down the wrong path. You know what I mean? So, but if you're on the frequency and the vibe of truth, and you can see things for what it is, and every single time you've had the right hunch, every single time you seem to be right, you seem to be prophecy or prophesy about a lot of things, then you're on a different frequency, you're on a different vibe, you're on the truth vibe. And once you stay on that vibe, you keep on unlocking and unraveling different truths as you spiral down the rabbit hole. You know what I mean? So, as you continue to dig deeper and deeper, you begin to raise your consciousness because your first eye, your mind, is open to a lot of things. You're no longer just stuck in your little bubble of, you know, that little city in that little town in that little city, and that state that you live in. You wake up, you put on the suit and tie, you eat breakfast, have coffee, go to work all day, come home, watch TV, eat, go to bed, wake up and take a shower, do it again, and that's your life, and that's all you see, and that's all you know. So you're on that frequency of, oh, this is what life is supposed to be, this is how I'm supposed to be living, and this is true. Whatever my profession is, oh, I'm an engineer, or I'm a person that pushes pencils at a desk. You believe that you are that thing, so you act accordingly, and that's your reality. But are you really a pencil pusher at a desk? Are you really a secretary? Is that what you came to Earth to do? We all came to experience a lot of things, but is that what you are, who you are? A lot of people just need to realize that the world is a lot bigger than the bubble that they're stuck in. Okay, it's a lot bigger than that town. It's a lot bigger than that city. It's a lot bigger than that state. It's a lot bigger than that country. It's a lot bigger than that continent, right? And that's how you get higher consciousness. Because even though you say, okay, well, whatever's going on over on the other side of the world, how does that affect me? What does that mean to me? It's all about signs and symbols and recognizing the signs and symbols in the time. What's going on over in Shinwa, you know, that's what's happening to them, but you never know, it could affect you in the future. So when you're seeing things happen, just know that one person's reality can become your reality. We've seen it happen with the C-19. We were seeing people drop like flies over there across the seas in the dragon country, the dragon continent. People were dropping like flies, and before you know it, a few months later, it was all in America, and we had to deal with it. Right now, at the moment as we speak, they released their artificial sun. They're now experiencing red skies. There have been several dragons that been sighted out there, fire-breathing dragons that have been spotted out there in China. So, there's a lot of supernatural wonders that's been taking place. And you say, well, how does that affect you? How does that. Well, the skies are red over there. It means that at some point it's going to happen over here. And you have to say, well, why did the skies turn red out there? Is it real or was it propaganda? If it's real, then what caused the skies to be red? Is it red iron oxide from planet Nibiru? Or was it a hologram on the firmament? Or was it due to the artificial sun they put in the sky and they can change the color of the sky at will? You never know. But that's what I mean. When you have higher consciousness, you can look at these things and assess them on a higher level, right? And break things down and try to look at things from a scientific standpoint, right? So basically, you can read a lot of books, but a lot of the cosmic intel comes from going within, asking deep questions, that lead to profound revelations, you know. Sorry to say, but if your belief is basically only based on the good book, the Bible, and you don't go any further than that, then obviously your consciousness is kept, right? Because you can't just stay within the realms and the four corners of that book without going any further and doing much research, right? Seeing where it came from, why is it similar to Egyptian mythology? Just digging into things like that. That's what raises your vibration and your consciousness. Because you're not just looking at things from one side, you're digging in and looking at it from all angles. And then looking at the bigger picture and then making the connection and connecting the dots. Because that's what it's all about, connecting the dots. Because when you connect the dots on a physical level, you connect the dots on a spiritual level, and also you build new neurons in your brain, and they begin to connect, right? And I mean, you gotta think about it. If you're looking at extraterrestrial entities who drive in spaceships that defy gravity and can travel at the speed of light, you would have to say to you, okay, those are very, very, very intelligent creatures who understand science and mathematics and I guess technology at a different level that we don't. And in order to be that, you have to be very, very intelligent. You have to be very, very smart. You have to understand things that the average person doesn't understand. And that's what I mean by higher consciousness. Okay, the more you know, but it has to be tested to be true, right? So before you can fly a spaceship that can go at zero gravity, 0 point gravity, you have to try and test it to be true and know that whatever methods you use to make this technology maneuver the way you want is true. And therefore, if you can make that happen, you're on a higher consciousness, you know? If you even think about how to do it, if you're even thinking about how to make this technology, you're on a higher vibration, higher consciousness, you know what I mean? If you understand the stars and you understand different not extracurricular, extraterrestrial entities from across the galaxies, you know, you understand in these times that we have several extraterrestrial entities on our planet right now, and some of which are involved in the politics, some of which are on your TV screens, some of which are in your Hollywood, you know, some of which are literally around you in everyday, day-to-day life, you know. These things are happening all around us, right? And when you're aware and you're in the know of how to find and look for these things, that's how you raise your vibration and your consciousness, right? But it's not easy, okay? Because you have to go against the grain. Like I said, you got to be an outlaw in this game, you know? Because that's what we are. We outlaws, you know? We rebels to society, you know? We're not going for the shit. We here for the shenanigans, but we're not taking that shit. You know, we're not going for it. We're not falling for it. All the lies and propagandas that they spew at us to try to get us to pretty much, it's pretty sick, but pretty much they're trying to get you to off yourself, which is weird. Okay, from the way I see things, whatever entity that's got a hold of this planet right now is trying to get you to off yourself. Okay, I guess it can't just push the button and get rid of us. So it says, okay, well, I just get you guys to get rid of yourselves, and it's easy to do that if you're not thinking and you're not using your first eye, right? If your reality is based on falsehood, you know, you can fall for the shenanigans and you can get tricked and fall for anything if you don't know what to stand for. That's why you gotta be an outlaw in this game. Okay, and in these times, it's critical. It's critical, rich and critical mass. You have to raise your vibration and your consciousness because the test is only gonna get more intense. It's gonna get turned up. It's gonna be a test of will. It's gonna be a test of strength. It's gonna be a test of spirit. Most importantly, and you know, we're gonna have to endure. And those who understand what's going on and what's taking place and why it's taking place know that karma season is here and judgment is here. Judgment is taking place. Um, the sun is changing its frequency, raising its vibration. The earth is changing, raising its frequency, right? Changing its vibration. So we have to change our frequency and raise our vibration along with the earth, or we'll be left behind. As simple as that. Okay, it's no time for games. No time for diddly daddling. You know, it's time to get serious, guys. It's time to get on your job. I would hate to say we have a little time left, but we have a little time left. I don't see this thing going more than 2 to 3 years. Okay, if we're lucky, this will be the year. If not, not much longer than 2 to 3 years because, quite honestly, I can't take this shit no more, you know? I'm ready for all this to come crashing down, but, you know, careful what you wish for. We want more people woke as possible because we want as many people to make it through this as possible because we need as much people as we can to build this new world and start to live heaven on earth because we deserve it. Okay? In the next few months, next few years, technology is going to start coming out. Free energy technology, anti-gravity technology, medical healing technology, right? All these things are going to start becoming available, but in order for us to use it and have access to it, we have to raise our consciousness and our vibration. And as we're doing that, we have to do things that are conducive to helping us get to the next level, but it's also going to be going against the grain of what society and this matrix deems as, you know, what is good and what you're supposed to be. So you got to be outlaw in this game. You know, you got to fast, you got to diet, you got to sun feed, eat your fruits, vegetables, raise your chakras, stay woke, people. And most importantly, stay on your semen retention. Save your sexual energy, cultivate that energy, right? Start to create, start to think of the future, start to think of future technologies, start to think of ways to build energy technology, because we're going to need it. All right? Shout out to all you outlaws in the game. Shout out to all you rebels. Stay on your path. I know it's hard, but we're going to make it through. All right? This is King Astro for all y'all who want to who. Let's go. I'll see you on the next video.